Yo, what is up? And we are coming back with another video. This video, now, I was partially inspired by a friend. He has a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to him here. But this isn't what he suggested I make a video on. It was something else closely related to it. But I'll make a video on what he talked about probably on Wednesday. So yeah, make sure to be looking at out for that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, and I think that this subject will be sort of interesting. Not my most interesting video to watch, but uh, it'll have some intriguing elements. But yeah, so that's really it. Let's actually get into the video. Okay, what are we talking about? Well, it's something that has been controversial for quite a while now, and it is actually data centers. Data centers are the subject at hand here, and we're going to be looking at some of the stuff that people say about them because some of it is fine, and I guess, and some other stuff is dumb, and of course, I'll have my own thoughts on it. Now, a data center is just a place where a lot of AI servers are held. Of course, this involves a lot of RAM, like I mentioned near the end of my last video, and it also requires a lot of water to cool it, and yeah, they also require a lot of electricity, obviously, and for these reasons, a lot of people have criticized data centers, and they argue that it's diverting water supplies or energy supplies. And what would I argue? Well, as for the water thing, it's not really true. We're not really going to have a problem with water now. Of course, of course, we're not, always going to be able to have filled groundwater reserves and aquifers, but if we have the ability to filtrate and filter salt water into drinkable water, then we can effectively run on what we have forever. And so, because of that, I don't really think that we're going to see a problem. I think that they will end up being forced to either by the government or just public pressure in some way will probably result in them being almost forced to, most likely though compelled to. But I'd say that the bigger concern is electricity. Now, if you didn't know, data centers have been uh, coming out, and they've been becoming a not a fashion product really, but a product that's really nice to have because they're very lucrative. They make a lot of money ever since the AI boom that really started in 2022. And so the amount of energy being used for them is increasing a lot and a lot and a lot. And now there's dozens of these things that open. And if they're together in one area, the electricity prices will end up increasing because they don't have as much electricity as people are asking for, and so they're increasing the price that less people are willing to pay. And of course, the people who own the data centers know that this is a cost that they're going to have to take, and so they just do it, and they know that they'll make everything back and a lot more much later on. Now, what do I think? Well, I think that data centers, the amount of energy they take is a problem, and if we don't have any accountability for them, just allowing them to take electricity from the power grid, and because they know they're just going to make the money back. I think that's a problem, and I think what we might need to do is we might need to require that all data centers come with their own power. And that's actually what a lot of data centers have been doing already. A lot of them have been working to get some kind of actual power source, one dedicated for them. That's what companies like Meta, I believe, have been doing, among others. I will be putting the articles on screen here if I'm able to find them. And I think that it would be not that difficult to implement, considering that companies are already doing it. And so, yeah, I think that data centers, they're a thing that AI needs, and I think that that's another thing to consider, because remember, right now we've been just considering the data centers themselves, what they need, what they use, and how that's affecting other people. Now we have to consider, what is it actually doing? Like, in exchange for all this stuff, what is it giving us? It's giving us AI. And the benefits of AI have not been fully realized through everything, but I would say it's arguably a net positive. And I mean, of course, there's the AI will take our jobs stuff, but as far as I don't tend to make that argument, I agree with it, but I don't make that argument because I know there's actual evidence that AI could end up creating more jobs than jobs that it takes away. So I don't argue that, but it's okay if you do. Now, data centers are just, to me, there's some weird, strange things. Also, this is the people online that I see occasionally talking about them. There's people with decent opinions, I guess, and people with terrible opinions. Some people have good opinions on them. You can find a lot of ranging opinions and matters or concerns and how they see these concerns from people on the issue of data centers. And one of them here, like, this person here is clearly not being serious, they're just trying to have fun. A water cooled data center, except it's in the bottom of the ocean. And I thought this was interesting because it's not actually a dumb idea, and it's actually not, it's actually the opposite of a dumb idea, far enough to the point where it's actually been tested. They shipped, or they packed in, like, a few dozen or 100, I believe, surfers into a small capsule, and they put it in the ocean. I forget where this was. Maybe it was in Western Europe, but it ended up actually working well. And because, it was in the water, it didn't need the cooling. And so you could actually make some very efficient designs with this. And there's people who say that it would poison all the water and kill everything. These people don't know what they're talking about. Data centers don't produce pollution, really. I mean, I don't know how they would. It's not like they're burning. I mean, they could be burning something for their power source, but considering that almost no data centers with their own dedicated power supply are power supplies involving any fossil fuel, so I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, that's just one opinion. There's other opinions about them, like how they're perfectly good, and others about how they're perfectly bad. I'll try and find some people of these different opinions once I get to editing this clip here. And yeah, that's really much what I wanted to say about them. I think that this is an issue that you can't take one full side or another on. It's not that easy, and you can definitely find reasons for both being against and for data centers. Like, they could be beneficial, what they consume is too much. Oh, they're gonna benefit society in the long run. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I have to say on that. And we're done. Okay, so this video was shorter than I was hoping it to be. I was going a little fast because the actual recording I had of gameplay for this was only 13 minutes, and so I tried to move along a bit quicker in order to fit what I wanted to say in. But I guess that I didn't need to end up doing that, so yeah. I just have some minutes of gameplay left over that you won't see, but yeah, I should probably record longer stretches of gameplay. I tried to do it, but for some reason one of the files got messed up and it only recorded like a minute of gameplay when it should have probably recorded like a good hour of it. So I'll have to make sure that doesn't happen again. But yeah, this was only an 11, about, I think, or maybe 12-minute video. So yeah, this is just my take on data centers. If you have a different take, please tell me, because I'd love to see what your opinions are if you've even gone to this far in the video, which I doubt that you have. But yeah, so goodbye and peace.